started thinking about emotional support, I thought, that's what everybody needs. Every marriage needs that. Marriages fail if they don't have emotional support. Marriages can survive almost anything, but you take the emotional support from marriage, marriage will fail. They might live together, but it will fail. And so the same is true in business, in government, in industry, wherever you are, that emotional support. In times of COVID, we are really needing that emotional support. Very, very valuable.
Talk about emotional support. That's what I'm dealing with now, trying to get this screen together with my wife.
There you go.
Yes, exactly.
Emotional support, because I cannot do anything without her, literally. And so I like her to be part of whatever I do, because it's all about a team and working together. You see how we adjust and make things happen. But talk about how crucial being a leader to have that emotional support, because when you're trying to go through the fire and you're dealing with all these issues, you're looking around, you need some help too. But how important is emotional support?
It is really critical. I do a lot of individual one-on-one executive coaching, leadership coaching, and so in the earlier years, a lot of men, because men were predominantly the ones who were in top positions in organizations. Now that's balanced out better, but men in particular don't really grow up with the understanding of how important emotional support is. They see it when their spouse leaves them or something happens tragically or a crisis, then they feel it and experience it. But before that happens, they don't really see it. But it's like the best thing we have going for us, but the least recognized tool for really keeping relationships as strong as they could be in every kind. With our children, with everybody.
And in our organizations too, we created a model of character and leadership in 1995. And one of the things people have asked us about that after COVID, lots of talk about that. And there are a couple of places in the leadership character model that I think have gotten exaggerated importance now. And one of those is empathy, because everybody, to that point of emotional support, everybody's feeling stressed, everybody's feeling challenged. And I told this story when, the PPP came out. When this hit, our business was hit hard. Everybody canceled everything, right away. That was in March. And we were trying to do the PPP, and Bob and I were working from home. I was trying to get the right reports from the accounting system. I was sending it to the office, give me this, give me this, give me this. And I realized I hadn't thought about the people I was talking to, and I was treating them like, my servants or I hadn't said anything appreciative because I was so focused on me. And that's what happens in a crisis. That's what happens to leaders. And if you can't provide that kind of compassion and that kind of appreciation in a crisis, you're in real trouble.
I think that's the big thing. I think people forget about crisis and leadership. I think they sometimes focus on results. But if you don't have people that are willing to follow you because you're not interested in who they are as individuals and what they're going through, then you're going to be going by yourself. And so
Absolutely.
That's one of the biggest challenges I see. And I think, like the commissioner mentioned early, how do you have support for the leaders? You both are leaders and you support one another, but who, helps you to regroup and refresh, retool yourselves? I think not only do leaders need to support their people, but leaders need even more support now because we're required to do more with less. So how do you, especially at the executive level, Bob, how do you help those individual CEOs of these multi-billion-dollar corporations and those types of things? How do you really help them get focused on their job as a leader, but also are mindful of how, their own self-care and support, because that's important.
Not easy, but what I try to do when I'm working with a leader or leaders is try to get them to experiment with some new and different ways of seeing things doing different ways of doing things with other people because they will resist it intellectually, but once they experience it and see the value of that, what they get back from them, they relate in a more appropriate way or the better way with a person, then they're more likely to want to do it over and over and over again. So it just takes that continued repetition of getting them to first of all see it and then be willing to just trust me and experiment with it. If they don't think it's going to work, they don't think it's going to, because they've got fixed and set in their own ways or seeing things in a certain kind of way. But once they start experimenting with it again from a different perspective, and it doesn't, if you don't support people, if you don't treat people in the right ways, you're not going to accomplish your goals. You might get some of your goals accomplished, and they're all the people I work with are goal, they want us to accomplish their goals.
Right.
They're very goal directed.
Right.
So I can help them by getting them to see that this is going to make even better for your goals in this other direction.
Yeah.
And over the years, probably the best way I've been able to help CEOs and other senior leaders really see the difference. And when I can make that kind of help or change, then it permeates down throughout the organization. Because if you do like an organizational survey, at the top of the organization, they see certain things. The next level down, they see certain things. Next level down, certain things. And the bottom, lower level, they see everything. And they're the ones who are feeling all the pain. They're feeling all the pain. They work with 2 or 3 companies right now, big companies that are, we wouldn't work with that best level. You just see the pain is unbelievable, and the upper level, they have no clue at this point. Now they will eventually when we finally put it together, but right now they don't see it.
You don't see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
They don't connect with it.